guys, welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Fulham, episode 16. I would say we're really burming through them. We are really burming through the episodes. That isn't even a word, I've invented it, put it in the dictionary. No, we are really burning through these episodes, but I said that to start the last one, so yeah. Maybe I should stop saying that then. We had quite a busy January. Not a particularly happy January, but a busy one. And that's not really a good thing. Although we did have... Well, let's just get straight into the games and I'll explain as we go along. We had Sheffield United in the FA Cup. Now, our minimum objective in the FA Cup this year was to reach the fourth round, which meant we had to overcome Sheffield United, who I think, fairly certain, are still a League One side. You can check that, though, with a simple click on them. Yeah, they are. They're a League One club. So it shouldn't have been too difficult. However, as you can look from the score, well, not the scores, but the shot statistics, yeah, we made hard work of it. We really, really bloody did. I'm going to show you the highlights of the game because, well, you should probably see them because the goals were interesting. It was like watching the same goal twice, just with the reverse of it. Right, here we go. Basically, this was a story of two good goals by us, but pretty much our only chances of the entire game. I don't know why one was a clear-cut chance and the other one wasn't. Here we go. Plumain down the outside, whips the ball back across, and there's Martin Odegaard on his debut for Fulham. He's only 17 years old, so it was quite good to see him get off the mark so quickly. In fact, only 24 minutes into his first game for Fulham, so that was quite something. In the second half, we then basically scored the exact reversal of that. Odegaard gets the ball in a similar position, drops it across the box, and there's Plumain at the far post to make it 2-0. Now, at this point, I was fairly confident that we were going to go on to win the game. We were dominating the game, but there's still, Sheffield United had chances. We conceded a penalty, they scored it. We managed to hang on in the end, so preventing any kind of awkward upsets, but still, less of that needed in the future. I didn't even put out a particularly weakened side, as you can see from the lineup. You know, Stekelenburg, Trippier, and Morbietta, because Effie Ambrose is away in the African Cup of Nations, which is very irritating because Morbieta's just not doing a very good job for us at the moment. Although, yeah, 6.6 his rating in that game. Probably our worst player on the pitch. Dan Burns doing okay. Kaci Niklic, Mariga, Parker, Plumain, Draga, Odegaard, and Mitroglou. So, moving along, we did get through to the next round of the FA Cup, which is the key here. And that means we've completed our cup objectives, so that's good, and the board are happy with that. We then had Everton. Now, we've lost 3 league games in a row against Man United, Chelsea and Arsenal. And we've only scored 1 goal in those 3 games, so I really hoped that we could do something against Everton. Now, looking at the statistics from this game, we absolutely did not deserve anything from it. Although it might look it here, I'm pretty certain that they probably beat us 5-1 on clear-cut chances. Their goal, however, came in the 92nd minute, and it was a belter. James McCarthy won Goal of the Month for this, and there's no surprise, because it is an absolute stunner of a strike. But I would have much rather he'd scored it against, I don't know, anybody else. That would have been perfect. Well, actually, if you look at it, in fact, it's 3 clear-cut chances each, but I can assure you, our clear-cut chances were not as clear-cut as it's making out. They were definitely the better side, and we squandered a couple of chances in like the 88th minute in this game, and I was very, very annoyed because I thought we could snatch it. I thought, well, at least then we're going to get ourselves a draw and end up with a 0-0 here, which will... And when we cleared the ball here, I figured we'd done so because I thought that was going to go down as the chance. No. Instead, this happened. Bang. What a hit. And that's actually quite similar to the goal that Ross Barkley scored in the Premier League against Manchester City last season. I don't know if you remember it. Bloody good effort. But not so good when it's scored against you. And that's what happened here. So that was 4 straight defeats, and wow, we were just really struggling. Then we had another away game, and this time against QPR, local rival, and it was the last time. The worst possible moment to go and play QPR was this game, basically. Something to note before I actually show you the highlights and Suzo's goal, which actually there's no point in really even showing you Suzo's goal. It wasn't a particularly great game. We lost 1-0. We were pretty poor. In fact, we were very poor. But Sandro managed to get himself booked twice within a minute. Basically, he fouled McDonald Moriga. The free kick was given. We took the free kick, sure. He then went over and brought him down again and immediately got himself sent off, which I thought was brilliant. And then we went all out attack for the last 10 minutes and still couldn't get anything from the game. And that made it 5 straight league defeats for us now. And only scoring 1 goal in those 5 games. We really were dry as a bone. Like, dry as a nun's knickers. It was terrible. And we needed something to come good. Because going into the game against Wigan, we were like 8-1 to win this game. I don't know why the odds go so badly. We were still sitting 12th in the league at the time. So I've no idea why they gave us such horrific odds in this game. I guess because we had lost 5 games in a row. We had a team meeting. I basically said, right, don't let your heads drop. Because although we had 4 really tough games, the QPR one we were just poor. And I worried that that was because of the poor morale going from those other games. I thought the Sheffield United game would lift us slightly. It didn't really. But then we had Wigan. And this one, I've got to say, I think we were a little bit lucky, to be honest. Wigan kind of were better than us in this game. I can't deny it. We rode our luck quite a lot. We had more possession than them, but we also, I'm fairly certain on this one, didn't have as many clear-cut chances as they did. Ryan Tunnicliffe did, though, score his first league goal for us. In fact, I think that's his first goal in any competition for us. So that was nice to see. Yeah, look at that. 1 clear-cut chance we had. They had 4, and we managed to keep all of them out. So I guess that good credit goes down to people like Stecklenburg and our defenders for doing a very good job in the absence of our usual defenders. Larson's ball in a Tunnicliffe with a great header. Very close range, albeit, but still, he had to put it in the net, and he did. And to be fair, when you've only scored 1 goal in your last 5 league games, that came as a bit of a relief, because I felt like we could maybe hang on. Our problem lately is just not taking our chances, then conceding. Our problem before that was taking our chances and then conceding, and ended up with draws. But thankfully, we managed to win a home game, and Wigan are doing well this season. I think they were 9th coming into this game, but we managed to not wrap it up, because this was scored around the 65th minute. I was just trying to make some substitutions when this happened, but I thought I'd just leave it. It's an absolutely wonderful finish from Kaci Nikolic, and that is not the first time this season he's done that. Petroglu, although he hasn't scored many goals, he does provide a good link. I'm not entirely sure whether he's going to stay beyond this season. We have had offers. I had an offer of 7.8 million quid from Roma, which I have just turned down at the end of the transfer window, because I don't know, I didn't want to lose him right now. We don't have anyone to replace him. They offered it at the 11th hour, and if I'd have sold him there, we'd have got a lot of money, but we wouldn't have had a striker, basically, for the rest of the season, because Ross McCormack is just dog shit. He's terrible. He's not getting the game time. He's injured himself. Like, he spent most of the season out with knee tendonitis. He's come back. By the time he reached match fitness again, I was just getting ready to maybe put him in for a couple of games or give him some substitute appearances, and he's out injured again. I seriously don't think he's going to make a single appearance for us in the league this year. Maybe if we went further in the Cups, he might get an appearance, but I don't think so, because he's not going to be back in time for our replay against QPR here, which I don't think we're going to win anyway. Now, we kind of return to same old Fulham here, because against QPR, we were the better side. We absolutely were the better side. We didn't take our chances. We did manage to score ourselves a penalty, though, which Brian Ruiz managed to tuck away nicely for us. But then we did something really, really, really silly, and you're going to see what that was in a minute. And I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I can't stand it when that sort of thing happens on Football Manager. We dominated this game. We had, well, only 3 clear-cut chances to their 1, but still more than enough to win this game. This should have been our game easily. And it's nice to see Ruiz getting himself a goal. I figured maybe we could put our bad result against them in the league behind us by beating them in the cup. Unfortunately, directly from the start of the second half, basically, they picked up the ball, worked it down the other end, Suso, ball in, and Charlie Austin smashes it into the net. That was their only shot on target of the entire game, but it was the one that counted. We need to be more clinical. We need better finishers in the positions that are actually taking shots. So that's something that Draga is going to have to work on if he's going to play that role. And our wingers also need to work on that finishing. So that's something we're definitely going to need to look into. We then ended up with a replay, which is very irritating, because it's just yet another game that we cannot afford to have. Especially with the results that we ended up with against Newcastle and Blackburn. Although we beat Wigan 2-0, I thought Newcastle at home, we beat Newcastle away from home. This is the Blackburn game, what am I doing? I'll just show you the Blackburn game anyway. Similar kind of thing. We take the lead, this time through Costas Petroglu, and we were dominant against Blackburn. But then they equalised through a Michael Lum penalty. Very, very annoying. Blackburn are really, really struggling. We should have been beating them. It was away from home, so I would have settled for a point. However, since we'd only managed to draw against Newcastle, I kind of was hoping that we could do a little bit better than I wanted to get 7 points from those fixtures just to really boost us, because look how poor Newcastle were against us. Sim de Jong scored an almost identical goal to that which QPR scored, except theirs was at the start of the second half, and Sim de Jong did this directly from the kickoff. It was a simple case of Newcastle play the ball around at the back, take it down the wing, ball crossed in, Sim de Jong scores. Within, I think it was 16 seconds? Something ridiculous like that. It was absurd. I cannot even think how... It was in the first minute. They passed the ball around at the back. Micah Richards, you might know, plays for Newcastle now. Here we go. Hatton Ben Arthur grabs the ball. Obviously, he's back at Newcastle now after his loan spell at Hull. Runs straight down the wing. 2 players there. Can't get anywhere near him. Ball in. Sim de Jong. Bang. 1-1. 1-0 to Newcastle. We did manage to level it up, thank God for that, because if we'd have lost this, I would have been seriously pissed. We had 3-0 on clear-cut chances. We should be doing better than this. We're struggling. Not to such a degree that it's going to make any difference to our season in terms of where we finish, because we are still 12th in the league. And our updated season expectations state that mid-table, and 12th does count as mid-table, so we would be satisfied with that. But I myself wouldn't be so satisfied. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We're going to take a little look at the stats so far. Top appearance maker now is Kieran Trippier, all out on his own with 28 appearances. He's certainly been an ever-present for us. Top goal scorer, well, it's Draga and Mitroglou with 7. Draga hasn't scored in a little while and has started to drop off, which is really, really worrying, because we really do need his goals. Top assister is Thomas Draga as well, though, with 5. And top man of the match is still him with 5. He's not been man of the match since you last checked in on us. Pass rating, well, it's still Scott Parker. He's him and Mariga, those 2 positions there, thank God, are our top pass rate, and that does help us a lot. Scott Parker has had 11 yellow cards though, and we've got a lot of yellows, and that's because of the tactic we play. And I just don't think. I think if we didn't get as many yellows, we'd probably lose a lot more games though. That's the worry. Average rating overall, Scott Parker and Thomas Draga. Well, it's very, very close now. Parker is still shading it, but I still think that Draga may overtake him by the time the end of the season comes, because Parker may start to tire. Who knows? Although we aren't always playing Draga, him and Ruiz are kind of alternating a bit due to the amount of fixtures we've had at the moment. That might sort of even itself out a little bit towards the end of the season when we eventually, I assume, go out of the FA Cup, because we have got Arsenal in the next round if we were able to beat QPR in the replay, which I really don't think we will. I'm going to put our weekend side anyway, because we've got Manchester City at the weekend, and I don't want to get absolutely thumped by them because we have to put our weekend team against them. I just can't be doing that. We need to try and keep these results to a minimum, because our goal difference is much, much better than all the sides below us. And that's useful. It will certainly come in useful if we end up tied on points with any of this lot. As you can see though, Liverpool are in the relegation zone. After 24 matches, they've only got 19 points. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't suppose that Brendan Rodgers is in charge anymore. Joachim Low is still in charge of Liverpool. And, well, they are in a lot of debt as well. That's not good. They could be in some serious trouble at this rate. But we'll have to see. There is a couple of things we need to talk about. I wanted to start looking at some potential signings, because this is an area, like our central midfielders, if we lose one of these two, Parker or Mariga, the only players that can come in are Andrea Lucci, who isn't great, has a couple of alright statistics, some of his stats are okay, and he's in quite a bit of cash as well. And Ryan Tunnicliffe, who is even worse in fact, but is younger, so possibly could get better. But if Parker or Mariga get injured, or just have to be rested, because they're not able to play every single game there, we have to play one of those two. The problem's going to come because Parker isn't the youngest anymore. I think he's 34, 35. He's not young. 34 years old now. He's got one more year in his contract, so it'll be up at the end of next season. And of course, I am going to keep him till the end of next season, although he isn't quite a bit of money, because he's the captain, he's the club captain, and I need to put things in place to see what happens when he is going to go. Now, we did look at a couple of players to fill that role. Unfortunately, no, you see, this is the thing. I wish there was a way you could see what players you didn't get to sign. That would be brilliant if we could see that. If you could see what players you couldn't sign, that would be excellent. but that has not been the case, unfortunately. Unless there is an option here somewhere. No, there isn't. We basically went after a couple of people, none of which we've been able to get. The one that I was really, really looking for was a guy called Guido Pizarro, who plays for Tigres in Mexico. He was perfect. In fact, he's better than McDonald Mariga and Scott Parker, and he was only 24 years old. And we had a bid accepted of 1.6 million quid for him in January, which would have been amazing. And we'd even signed up a contract. We got him on 19 grand a week, and then Fiorentina came in. And, well, I don't blame him. If you've got a choice between Fulham and Fiorentina, you're probably going to go to Florence and not West London. As nice as the Thames is, I'm thinking Florence is probably slightly more up your street. So, yeah, we lost out, and that is such a shame. Let me see. I'm going to have to type this with one hand, but I'm sure I can find him for us, just so you can see what we've missed out on. Guido Pizarro, this is the guy. Look at these stats. For the role that we wanted him to play, which was ball-winning midfielder, with the right training, he could have been superb. I don't know, I forget whether we have it on defend or support. I always forget which ones we've got it set to. But either way, with the right training, he could be excellent. But he's joining Fiorentina, and that really, really sucks. That one pissed me off. We're going to have another look in the summer and have a more deep look at what we need in our squad, because we're not going to have a huge deal of money. But I think if we can get rid of Brian Ruiz and Hugo Rodallega, that will clear up lots of money on wages, some of which we can shift over to transfer budget. If we adjust our season expectations and whatnot, shift some money around, who knows, we could get ourselves maybe 15 million to play with next season. We'll just have to see. But if we get that kind of money, I really think we could have a stronger squad next season to maybe challenge for a proper top half finish. But we'll have to see. We're still only in February. Now, tomorrow you'll be joining us around about the middle of March, because we're going to come back after the youth intake, where we can talk about who we got. Hopefully we got someone slightly better than we did last year, where our only player of note was youngster Scott Carter. Hopefully we'll get someone better than that this year, but who's to say? We'll be talking through all of that, and of course the fixtures between now and then, so it could be quite a long episode. If you've liked what you've seen, hit the like button. If you'd like to do even more than that, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.